A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to week number 11, recorded lecture number 28. Well, in this today's recorded lecture, we are going to cover the topic meetings. We will learn about making agenda for the meeting, then how to effectively participate in a meeting, and then finally how to write minutes of a meeting. Well, according to an estimate, workers on average spend 4 hours a week in meetings and consider more than half of their time as wasted. And as far as managers are concerned, they spend, of course, even more time than workers in the meetings. Now, the actual problem is that they considered half of the time wasted. This needs to be understood, that why meeting participants, workers consider that half of their time is wasted, so that effort should be made to make meetings more productive, so that the workers and participants do not feel that attending meetings is waste of their time. Okay, business meetings consist of 3 or more people usually, who assemble to pool information. Meeting can be conducted to pool information, to solicit feedback, to clarify policy, to seek consensus, and to solve problems. In broader perspective, we can say these are common purposes of meeting, that meetings usually are called to pool information, to solicit feedback, to clarify policy, to seek consensus, and to solve problems. So these are some of the common purposes of holding meetings. Well, let's see this quotation from Janice Francisco, organizational development and innovative consultant. Francisco says mindful meetings are productive meeting with clear purpose and objectives that involve the right people at the right time, and that use proven techniques to get the most out of the time invested. They don't happen by accident. Key ingredients are preparation, good facilitation, balanced thinking, good record keeping, and appropriate follow up. So, these are some of the key characteristics of a productive meeting, of such meetings where participants do not feel that they are waste of time. So efforts should be made to make meetings productive, and these are some of the areas that have been highlighted in this quotation, and focusing on these areas can make our official meetings more successful. Now let us begin with this typical agenda, right? This is once again a typical agenda. The organization you join, and they can have their agenda which can be little different from this one. Now usually the heading agenda appears at the top, and then heading of the meeting. In this case it is Quantum Travel International, right? In your case you can mention your own organization name, like we can say NAD University, or if it is a departmental meeting you can say materials departmental meeting, or materials department, or telecom department, or petroleum engineering department or food engineering department or automotive engineering department, right? Then a staff meeting, this is meeting title. It can be anything. It can be, BOS meeting, BOF meeting, or maybe examination meeting. Then date of the meeting is given, like in this case it is September 4 2018. You can write the date, when your meeting will be held. Then time is mentioned, 10 to 11 a.m. So you mention time for your own meeting. It can be any time, when you want to when you want to have that meeting. Then meeting venue is mentioned, that is conference room. In your case, it can be a different venue. Then these first 3 points are usually present in most of the agenda. Like point number 1 is call to order. Call to order means formal start of the meeting, right? For example, the meeting time is 10 and the members start coming, say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the meeting starts. And then they may be having some personal discussion or some other discussion, right? But as soon as the meeting formally starts, maybe a chair of the meeting or head of the meeting may take their attention, for example, by saying, well, thank you very much everyone for gathering for this meeting today. So let us formally begin with, like in Muslim context, usually we start with the recitation. So let us begin this meeting with the recitation from the Holy Quran. Other cultures can start in their own ways, in their cultural ways, or according to their own norms. After this, there is roll call. Roll call is actually, you can say, attendance. Like all meeting participants' names and designations are written, and in front of their name and designation, space is available for signature, and usually they are roll call is attendance, and usually these names are there is attendance sheet, you can say, right? And it is sometimes circulated, and sometimes maybe somebody, a staff member, may take to every individual. Well, next point is approval of agenda. Though agenda usually is should be sent at least 3 to 4 days, preferably a week before the meeting, but at least 3 days before it should reach all members. Agenda of the meeting, like this one agenda. So formally, during the meeting, approval of the agenda is sought from all the members, right? Approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Minutes of the meeting is again a document which is prepared at the end of the meeting, like after the meeting has completed. During the meeting, a secretary or personal assistant to the chair notes down important point, and after the meeting he or she prepares that document which is called minutes of the meeting. We will see this document, minutes of the meeting, today because it's part of this topic. So this minutes of the meeting actually is approved. But minutes of the previous meeting, suppose if the meeting is held today, that's December 24, and in today's meeting, of course, we will be approving minutes of the previous meeting, suppose that was held in November 2020, right? Then this is one way to list agenda items, like number 5, 1, 2, 3, usually they are fixed items, right? Then 4 to 7, they will vary according to different meetings. For example, committee, in this case, item number 4 is committee reports, and then further detail committee reports on 2 topics like social media news and tour packages, and responsible person who will be covering these topics are mentioned, like in this case they are JARD and Lakisha, I guess, if I can pronounce them correctly. And proposed time, like for item A, 5 minutes are proposed, and for item B, 10 minutes are proposed. Then item number five, agenda item number five is okay. So this old business in this case has three sub items to be covered, like equipment maintenance, client uh, escrow accounts, and internal newsletters, right? Again, those people who will be discussing these items, their names are mentioned in the second column, and third column has proposed time for each member. Then item number 6 is new business, and in new under new business there are two items, like new accounts and pricing policy for Asian tours and responsible persons. Their names are given in the second column, and third column has a proposed time for each member. Then item number 7, announcements. Usually it is kept in agenda. There may not be any announcement, but since as I have already said, that this is a typical agenda, and usually this heading is there. If there are any announcements that the chair wants to share, he or she can do so. The last one, chair's summary and adjournment. Chair's summary is, usually chair of the meeting or head of the meeting, sums up the key points that were discussed in that meeting. And then finally there is adjournment. Adjournment is formal close of the meeting, like call to order was formal start of the meeting. Similarly, adjournment is formal closing of the meeting. Suppose the meeting ends at 11 and now the meeting is formally adjourned. After adjournment, if any points are discussed, they are not included in minutes of the meeting, that can be other than the meeting agenda. Okay, this is another typical example of agenda, and we have name of the company and title, uh, you know date is there, time is there, location is there. Then these agenda items are set according to time, like welcome news, recognition, a review of policies, administrative reports, housekeeping items, then presentation 1, 2, 3. Now in this case, the specific title of the presentation and concerned person and time allocated are not mentioned. So this is a bit more general agenda. And end of the general staff meeting or break, then breakout meeting, and that is adjourn. Time is 4. So this is a bit more flexible and general sort of agenda. Now this is another template, agenda item, like it's almost similar to the previous one, just with the addition of requested attendees. This one heading is there, and all those attendees who have been requested, their names are included in name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? And then there is welcome or news announcement, like at 1, then recognition, then administrative finance updates, then review of previous action items, then we have project updates, discussion or topic 1, then we have discussion or topic 2, and then there is a round table, at 2, maybe round table discussion or something. Then review of the new assignment or travel plans, and adjournment. New action items, like there are 2 action items. So again, these are just sample agendas. The yours one can be somewhat closer to them, and they have just been included to give you an idea what does an agenda for a meeting look like. Well, agenda is prepared before the meeting. Now, during the meeting, there are some things that both members and chair of the meeting should keep in mind. Like the first thing is participating actively and productively in meeting. Of course, that is the basic purpose. So, point number one is arrive early. So, you show respect and look well organized when you arrive a little early, right? Secondly, come prepared since you are there are certain points and your input is required. So the members should prepare, and since agenda item is already shared, so bring the agenda and any distributed material, study the topic, and be ready with questions, comments, and good ideas. Obviously, the chair will be bringing the agenda item. So, if you are just a member, not the chair, then even then you should come prepared with the points that you want to discuss and agenda items that you want to share or that have been assigned to you, right? Have a positive attitude, so use positive body language and speak energetically. Just don't show you are fed up of meetings and you do not like meetings, and just don't show that. So the members should have a positive attitude towards meeting, right? Contribute respectfully, so wait for your turn to speak and raise your hand to be recognized, right? And wait for others to finish. So before you speak, wait for others, and as soon as the others finish, you should, you know, then you should speak. Well, keep your voice calm and pleasant yet energetic, right? Avoid showing anger, as this focuses attention on your behavior rather than on your ideas. So, even if there is some point that makes you angry, it's better to control your anger during the meetings. Give credit to others. If somebody else has made a positive contribution, so give them credit, and while appreciating others, that actually you will be increasing your allies, and that will also enhance your credibility by recognizing others in front of peers and supervisors, right? Use your cell phone, tablet, and laptop only for meeting related tasks. You can use them like you may have your agenda, or you may be noting down some meeting related points, but do not check email or do not use for other purposes. Like focus your attention on the meeting, not on answering emails or working on your computer. Right? Next is help summarize. So assess the meeting leader by reviewing points you have noted. At the end when the chair is summarizing. So if there are certain points that you have noted, so you can share those points with the meeting chair, and that way you can help him or her to summarize the main points of that meeting, right? Express your views in the meeting. Build trust by not holding post meeting sidebars that involve criticism and judgment. So just within the meeting, remain positive and neutral and share your views, right? So follow up, send the signal that you are efficient and caring by completing the actions assigned to you. So that is the follow up part. Well, after the meeting has completed, as I have already discussed, that the first part or pre-part of the meeting is preparing agenda. After agenda, the second part is when the meeting is held, and all members sit together and they discuss the agenda items. And third part is minutes of the meeting. And this minutes of the meeting, that is usually after the meeting, right? So this is a formal meeting minute template. You can take help from it, and this is one way. This is, of course, this is not the only way to record minutes. Sometimes minutes are also recorded in table form under various columns, but this is one way. Like ACME Corporation, this is name of the organization. Minutes of a meeting of the board of directors. So this is meeting title, and your meeting title can be different. Like it can be BOS meeting, it can be annual dinner meeting, it can be final year project meeting. So whatever the title of your meeting is, you include that title here, right? And then date is included. Like in this case, it is September 5, 2020. Now, this first paragraph has just basic introduction, a meeting of board of directors. The board of ACME Corporation or Corporated, California C Corporation was held on September 5, 2020 at the office of the company. So it has date, it has venue, and it also mentions the company title. And sometimes also time is mentioned, that from like 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. or whatever the time for the meeting was, that is also mentioned, right? Now the second one, attendance, in agenda, that was roll call. Here it's attendance. So voting members, there can be voting members, who are active members and who are permanent members of that meeting. So there can also be guests. Sometimes some guests can be invited for the meeting, and those guests can be the field experts, or they can be representative of other departments, but usually these guests are not included in voting members. So voting members names are given, guest names are given, and voting members, if any are absent, like in this case no one was absent, then none is mentioned. Okay, then we have approval of minutes. A motion to approve the minutes of previous like August 5 meeting was made by Larry Emerson and seconded by Mark Branson. Like approval of minute, as we had it in agenda item also, that in the current meeting, minutes of the previous meeting are approved. So this is how the minutes record that how the minutes were approved. Call to order, of course, that is formal start of the meeting. Larry Emerson called the meeting to order at 2 p.m. and Tom Every recorded the minutes. A quorum of directors was present, and the meeting, having been duly convened, was ready to proceed with the business. So this is how formally the meeting is started at 2 p.m. These are further agenda items of the meeting that were covered, like CEO report is there, and we have this detail, like Larry Emerson reviewed the agenda and welcomed everyone to the meeting. Next, Larry Emerson discussed the current status of company and its progress. A number of questions were asked, and extensive discussion ensued. Now, while writing minutes, they are not very detailed. The minutes should not be very lengthy, that going up to 20 pages. Like the meeting was for an hour and minutes are 20 pages. So they are very brief and important points that are recorded for each meeting, and that's why everything is not written. That's not transcription, that whatever everyone says, that is noted down and then included in in the minutes. So only few important points are noted down and they are made part of the minutes. Well, the next point, in this agenda item, is sales and business development update report. So, how the report was updated and who updated it, that is mentioned. Like Mark Branson next provided an update on the overall sales progress and sales pipeline of the company. He also presented the status of business development discussion. So, you know, just key points what was covered under this heading that has been recorded in this minutes of the meeting. Then the next item was financial review report. Mike Branson provided a comprehensive update on company's financial plan and forecast. Mark Branson also reviewed the company's principal financial operating metrics. So this is another agenda item, financial review report, and uh, maybe Mark Branson spoke for 10 to 15 minutes, but only important points are recorded here, right? Then there is motion 1, approval of option grants. Like Emmy Holmes presented to board a list of proposed options to be granted to company employees for approval, whereupon motion duly made, seconded and unanimously adopted. The option grants were approved as presented in Exhibit A. So there must be some detail attachment that is called Exhibit A, and further details of that grant that was approved are actually made part of that Exhibit A. Then, this last thing, announcement heading was an agenda, and if it is an agenda but there was no announcement, so none has been mentioned, right? Similarly, adjournment, as I said, there being no further business to come before the meeting was adjourned at 2:45 p.m. So, as I said, adjournment is formal closing of the meeting. Okay, so meeting activity. Now we have already discussed how to prepare agenda for the meeting, and then how to actively participate in the meeting, and then how to record minutes of a meeting. Now, in physical classes, we used to have this meeting activities in the class, and where students would prepare agenda for the meeting, and then they would conduct meeting in the class, and then after the meeting they would write minutes of the meeting. But since we do not have that option available with us in these online classes, now you have to do this activity online with your friends. Your first step is you should prepare agenda for the meeting. First, you decide on the meeting. For example, that meeting can be your final year project meeting. You want to discuss with your friends or with the members, those whom you want to include in your final year project. You want to discuss few important points for them. So now the purpose of meeting is final year project, right? The first step would be you shall make agenda for the meeting. You can follow the typical steps as discussed, and then you can decide on the agenda items. For example, agenda item 1 can be finalize the final year project topic, and in this case you can take input from all members. Then second, you can plan if there is some experiment included in that, then you can discuss on that experiment, right? Second step would be, once you can collaboratively form this agenda, then finally you can draft that agenda and share with all group members, right? Third thing would be you can hold meeting. Now, since physical meetings are difficult or rather impossible these days, so I recommend you can have a meeting online using Zoom or Google Meet or some other source. Then during the meeting is conducted, one of you should record the important points, because on the basis of those important points then minutes of the meeting are finalized, right? And after the meeting, you know for practice, I'll suggest all of you should record minutes of the meeting, so that you can learn how to record minutes of the meeting, right? Typical minutes have been typical minute format has been, or one sample has been shared with you. You can also see another minutes of the meeting format given in the book that has already been shared with you. So thank you very much, and take care.